Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. December 6th. It is already December 6th. And here I am at 4:53 in the morning to record this podcast. It is going to be rainy, as I mentioned yesterday, and the last couple of days this week is going to be unsettled, and it's already starting out that way here this morning. Here's a look at the radar where you can see kind of an arc of rain showers now moving through the area. This is all ahead of a warm front, which you see to the south of us, and an area of low pressure that's helping make that arc of rain. That's the initial warmer air trying to already move into the area. So the front painted on here probably a little bit behind some of this rain, but eventually we're going to steadily warm up, and we have, as expected, even overnight. I mean, yesterday's high was officially 54 at the Bowling Green Airport. 52 is where we should be on average, so that was a 2-degree difference. But since then, the temperatures have been rising overnight thanks to this warmer air that's moving in across the area. That is going to continue to be the case as we go through the day. So much warmer today than it was yesterday, thanks to that warm front to the south, which will be not only keeping the rain in the forecast, but also helping us warm up a bit through the next couple of days. Temperatures are going to be running well above average for this time of the year. Let's take a look at the next 10 days up front. The model blend showing that we are going to stay warm here for a few days. How about mid 60s? Some cases, maybe even upper 60s. The winds are going to pick up a little bit more today from the south. Not gusty, but just, general breezes from the south at 10, maybe 15. The rain is going to be the bigger story, I think, here, though, as we go through time. As you can see, we're going to be in the mid 60s today, tomorrow, close to that on Thursday and Friday. And then by Saturday, we finally get a cold front passing through the area, and it's going to shut off the rain that we have every single day in this forecast. Just in time for the weekend, but then there will be some return chances once we get into the beginning of next week. But what you'll notice there is temperatures will go back to average, which is in the 50s, but then we'll even get cooler than average as we fall off into the 40s. That will be in the middle of next week, which is also the middle of December. Yeah, nothing too extraordinary there. The rain is going to be the biggest story of all, I think, because it's going to rain a lot, but maybe not as much as we first thought. But still, it's going to be quite rainy over the next several days, and some of you could pick up a couple of inches of rain by the time all this is over. Here's a look at Kentucky mesonet temperatures this morning, and what a difference from yesterday to today. When we looked at this time yesterday morning, it was in the 20s. There was frost everywhere. You had to warm up the car. Well, such is not the case this morning because everybody is in the 50s and continuing to rise in temperature as we have overnight. We're now just about as warm as we were all day yesterday and continuing to climb in temperature. And the closer that warm front gets, all of these temperatures statewide will begin, well, except for maybe the extreme northeast, will continue to rise through the 50s and into the 60s as the day progresses. Not much in the way of rain out there last 24 hours. Well, I take that back. There was at least a what was that, 45 hundredths of an inch of rain down in Simpson County, Franklin, and then Allen County, Scottsville picked up about the same, 3/10 of an inch of rain over near Tompkinsville yesterday in Monroe County, and then just about 1/10 of an inch here in Bowling Green, lighter amounts off to the north. So right along the Tennessee border, almost some half-inch rainfall amounts. That's kind of surprising to me because most of the rain that I saw yesterday was just light and drizzly. But evidently, some of you guys right along the Tennessee border picked up a lot more than that. So there you go. And there's more of that to come. And I think the target zone for additional rain and maybe even some occasional heavy rain as these systems pass through is going to be in southern Kentucky, northern middle Tennessee. That's kind of where that boundary is to set up and then park, as you'll see on the maps, uh, and stall out there for Wednesday into Thursday until the front passes us on Friday. Well, let's take a look at that now. Let me get to what's happening with the future temperatures, first of all. And you'll be able to see how the temperatures are not really going to go down any over the next 24 hours. They're going to stay warm and continue to climb. Here's the way it looks right now. 50s this morning to start out. Like I said, no frost or anything to worry about, just some wet roads and wet windshields this morning. As you see through the day, we continue to climb with those southerly breezes and that warm front coming up from the south. We're actually going to get into the mid 60s. Wow, look at that. 65, maybe closer to 70 for Nashville. Cooler to the north of that warm front, though, as temperatures will only stay in the 50s for places like Louisville, E-Town, Lexington, Evansville. We go into tonight, you're not going to see a whole lot of change in temperature. It's going to hold steady once again in the 60s, maybe drop a few degrees. And then here we go into Wednesday. Look, the numbers don't change that much. We'll stay low to mid 60s because that front is then it's going to be the warm front that comes in, brings us the warmer air. Then a wave of low pressure comes behind it and then stalls the front. So we are going to stay in that warm air sector from, well, pretty much 65 south, 65 and the parkways southward, while to the north and northwest, it's going to stay cooler. So that looks to be the trend over the next couple of days. Even for much of the week, I don't see any really cold air, as you saw in the 10-day blend, coming anytime soon until we get into next week. Okay, so future radar. Let's take a look at that because it will also help tell the story of these waves of energy, these impulses that are going to continue to come through with the warm front at first and then the stalling out of the front right over the area. Here is the right now showing the general rainfall that's just scattered, mainly light. Occasionally, there are some of you, like across the Tennessee border, that have picked up a little bit heavier rain. I do think as we go through the morning and the morning drive to work, you're going to find little pockets of brief, heavier rainfall or steadier rainfall. This is the warm front that's causing all this. We may see a break a little bit in the afternoon for a short time, and then we'll get more of those showers, though, as we get into this late this evening, into tonight, overnight. Here comes the cold front. You can see everything kind of lining up back to the west, but it's not going to go much of anywhere. It's going to come into the Bowling Green area, and that's where it's going to stall. And you see it there. It's just everything just kind of stops, and we're waiting on another wave of low pressure, another piece of energy to ride along that front, make that front wobble back and forth just a little bit over the coming days. And so that's going to keep us unsettled, and it's going to keep us a bit rainy through this entire time over the next several days, all the way at least through Friday morning. So while you may think, well, the rain's let up, everything's good, but then there's going to be another piece of energy that comes back. And so this back and forth, rinse and repeat. Remember, that's the line I like to, that little phrase, rinse and repeat, exactly describes how this forecast is going to go. Okay, to the maps. Let me show you, before I get to the maps, how much rain we're expecting over the next several days. Now, This projection takes us out to Sunday, about midday Sunday, morning Sunday, starting today. You can see over southern Kentucky, we've got this kind of magenta, purple, plum looking area, maybe 2 inches. And again, right there along the Kentucky Tennessee borders, where some of the heaviest of the rains are going to occur. And then over to southeastern Kentucky, over toward the Cumberland Plateau. So, yeah, some of you could pick up maybe 2 inches of rain between now and Sunday. We've come down on the 3 to 4, although there could be an isolated um, amount close to that. But how about just keeping it a general 1 to 2 inches in some locations right near the Tennessee border over toward the Cumberland Plateau? Yeah, you could get a little bit more, maybe 2 1/4, 2 1/2. But it's going to be this slower, steadier rain that's not going to hit us all at once. It's going to be over the course of several days. And that's exactly what we need to be out of the severe drought, which we're still in, by the way. We're still 6 inches or more below where we should be this time of the year on rainfall. This will help because it's not an all at once deluge. This will have time to really soak into the ground and do some good. So I hope it will. And we're not too worried about flooding because everything is so dry. I don't think we're going to have to worry about too much in the way of minor flooding, as I talked about yesterday. But that's when the numbers were a lot higher than what we're looking at today. Okay, now on to the map features. We take a look at what's going to happen over the next few days. Here comes our systems front to the south. Yes, you may hear some rumbles of thunder today, but no severe weather expected, just general garden variety thunderstorms, nothing that's going to become severe. Here's our decaying front to the west, but here's the main front with those waves of low pressure riding along it. The warm front comes in, the winds pick up a little from the south today, and not only enhances the rainfall, but makes us much warmer. And so here we are into this evening, into tonight. Warm front is now north of us. There's the trailing cold front systems back west of us that will keep coming. This begins to stall out now right over the area. This is the stalling out for tomorrow. As you see here, it doesn't move much at all, just kind of parks here, wiggles a little bit, kind of goes east a little bit, then backs up. This is into Thursday, then finally comes south of us. But then this next wave of low pressure over the panhandle of Texas will cause this thing to wobble back to the north again. And there it is. Into Friday, the front and the low pressure system finally makes its way across Kentucky and shuts off the rain for a short time for Saturday. But by Saturday night into Sunday, this is going to be a complete replay of what just happened or what is going to happen the next couple of days. Warm front to the south, overrunning moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, lifted over the front. And where it's cold enough to the north of us, frozen precipitation, but we're way far south of all that. So don't even think it's going to get cold enough for that. It's going to be all rain for us again as we get into Saturday night and into Sunday and into Monday, even though it's not painted in here, still a chance of showers. And this pattern just doesn't want to give up. It's rinse and repeat. It's a short and simple way to describe what I just said for the last almost 15 minutes. Well, why didn't you just say that? Rinse and repeat. Well, I did, but for those of you that like the details and wait till the end of the podcast, thank you. Because there's some people who look at the 10-day and they just move on, and that's fine. At least I've given them something to think about. All right, headed to the radio station, Sam 100.7 this morning, 6 to 10, for the great music and a few Christmas songs thrown in, Christmas classics, of course, and all the fun that we have on the morning show. In the meantime, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you on the radio.